post-retirement, experience or experiences in the UK. I know some people might ask the question, we are still young, why retirement is there? And it's a very compelling question that people, and that's the motive for the research, by the way. People ignore retirement till they are retired. So therefore, especially in the culture of the Arab world, because our data subjects come from the Arab world, and they are migrants in the UK, so they don't have the habit of planning for retirement, not even thinking of retirement. Maybe it's a taboo or something like this, but that's the motive behind the research. But the idea is that people say, do we have a difference between retired people, native people in the country, and migrant people in the country? So that's a big contribution in the field of retirement and migratory literature as well. So first, we try to talk about the outline here. So what we say here, why retired migrants? We will explain why. The research objectives, the normal thing. Then prior research to show that we have 3 strands here of literature. It's very complicated research, by the way, because we involve, something called research on retirement, research on age and aging, because they are connected, and research on migration, because that's our topic. So once we talk about this, we notice there is a combining factor between all of them, which is time. And the second, because we are talking migration, which is, 2 factors, time and spatiality, or space. And that is a big contribution as well. Nobody else before tried to detect that those 2 notions are affecting our decisions, for retirement. Then we'll talk about the conceptual framework, which is again big contribution. None of the literature before on those topics used what we call life course perspective theory, and that's a new contribution. Then we'll talk about the participants, the findings. As you notice now, the findings, we notice that retirement is an experience. But before you get to that stage of retirement as an experience, you have to remember we have what we call perception of retirement. It is perceived differently on an individual basis than in the industry sector, which we are not talking about. But then the perception depends on your cultural background sometimes. So if a culture believes in what we call time spans differently, so the decision would come differently as well. So let's see very quickly. I know we don't have much time to stop at each one of them.